So obviously, demo, get an arrow. Yeah, do that. So realistically, you just want to send everyone over point. Um, some scouts like to run across point at the demo, but usually their team's gonna be not stupid, so you're usually not gonna let you do that. So you can go on roof. I've seen a lot of scouts just like jump on roof, and then they can like jump onto their fans, and then like shoot the heavy, shoot anyone that's here. Um, yeah, you can always like try and walk at the demo. It's just like if that heavy's not slow and like their scout isn't fucking moronic, they're just gonna shoot you back. So if you you're just gonna have to realize that it might be just a death sentence if you go after their demo like that. You might want to only do it when like there's a damage call, but I mean, if they let you get away with it, they let you get away with it, right? How you lose mids is backing up on the ramp. Nobody should back up on the ramp. Um, Everyone should walk forward on Ashville mids. That's why I said, Scout, you can even jump over a roof because almost all soldiers like to bomb like over here, like over the roof. So what some soldiers will do is they'll like, jump off this wall and then go right into the medic who's coming out of shutter. And that's basically your pyro's job to watch for. Your heavy should be walking forward on the point, and your scout jumping on the roof kind of just like is able to mate shot him if he does that. So you can also like jump through shutter, but I think most of the time they'll either delay their bomb off of bats, like so that the reason why they do that in soldier, you can take notes of this too, is like if you delay your bomb, like you just kind of stand there and not really do much, um you can have their pyro look up the entire time, and like they're pretty much useless for everything, right? Instead of going right away, right? um Good soldiers will always delay, like mix up the timing of their bombs. If you go instantly one time, maybe you'll want to delay another so that their pyro's useless, and then you go in on a time that they don't expect, Maybe eventually their pyro has to like start reflecting spam, right? And then you can bomb. Just mix up the timings. Um, yeah, I mean, medic, don't be scared of this. If you get headshot on this mid, you get headshot. It's really, you can't just be scared. You got to get out of the shutter. Play here. Um, you all need to walk forward on the mid, walk forward at that demo. Careful, heavy might be like heavy. Some heavies like to come through here. They'll like jump on the crate along that path. If they do that, just shoot him. I mean, pretty much only demo can deal with this guy. So, um, for spy, this is a pretty juicy pick too. Seen a lot of spies like to get on me whenever I come here. So, spy, you can kind of use that. But yeah, it's kind of mid. Okay, so holds. Uh, so there's a few ways you can take this defensive Uber. And it depends who you want to take it on. A lot of people, like in a little bit lower divs, like to take it on their heavy. So a lot of the popular strat is to have your heavy on these crates so that he can like head glitch this and make sure that they don't walk off. Make sure you don't get headshot. Like if sniper's peeking this, then just don't peek. Until like maybe you can like try and jiggle peek to get eyes on it. Then one can just like sticky this. Get traps. Some nice traps are like there. Seen some demos put them like here, so that when they drop off, they just jump into your stickies. It's a pretty good trap. I think the main one you need to worry about are these ones. As demo, your job is to lock off shutter. Make sure that nothing can just peek shutter or walk through shutter. So basically the idea is that your heavy can lock down bats and you can lock down shutter, right? And that's not to say you can't just like throw a few stickies here and then you can put like the rest up here, right? Right? That's like a fine way to do it. But yeah, this is your main responsibility. Scout, stay on roof. Your job is to kind of get eyes on everything, try to get sniped. If you need a buff, just come to the corner, ask for a buff. You can even jump down, just like get on toxic, ask for a buff, and then just like jump back up. You know, your job is to get eyes on this. Make sure that like if your heavy's not watching it, you at least are, and your job is to also if their soldier jumps over a roof, like I said at the beginning, if they go for a sack, and so a lot of soldiers like to jump off that sheet metal. If they do that, they're gonna jump right into you, and you basically just meat shot them, so they lose all their momentum. Pyro, some pyros usually like to sit up here with their scout. That's kind of redundant. If you have a scout up here, you don't really need a pyro, you know? Pyro just stay on the ground and spy check. Yeah, your scout can pretty much just like handle this as long as your medic's not being a dumbass and like not playing on ramp. Like you shouldn't need to play on roof, right? Um, Medic, speaking of, you should be like here. Your spy your spy should be calling sniper rotations. Spy can kind of play on cloak and not cloak and dagger. Well, he can, but like either some kind of invis or DR, and yeah, either way, he wants to try and get like eyes on the sniper. So like if the sniper's not on bats, like let's say you're heavy and scouts say sniper's not on bats, right? And your soldier, who by the way is gonna be like watching ramp, you can do that from here, but you can also get sniped from here. So a lot of soldiers like to sit here, and, like, you know, do this, and that's way if you get a little bit too much damage off on yourself, you can just drop down. And yeah, but also a lot of soldiers. A lot of soldiers like to stay up on fans. And the reason why is because you can get a lot of damage off on here. And then if something comes ramp, you can just totally nuke the fuck out of them, right? That's like your job is to have your job is to control ramp. But if your spy has eyes on what's coming ramp, then you should be fine, right? Your job is to kind of just control this half of the map. If there's a spy called on bats, a lot of soldiers will just literally like bomb after him. Go catch his ass, right? And then if sniper's called ramp, you can literally just like nuke the fuck out of him. This is a really aggressive angle, but if you ever need an arrow, just drop down, get an arrow, jump back out. Right. Yeah, engineer, you should probably be up here too. Put a mini there. Dispenser should go somewhere on ramp. Kind of up to you. I think most engineers will put it like either there or here. The reason why they put it here is just because it survives longer back here. But also remember when I said you lose this map if you guys back up to ramp. If you put it back here, more people are more drawn to this dispenser, which is at the back of ramp, right? So the idea of putting it here, even though it's in a bigger sight line, or like a bigger spam line, is so that if they do back up, they don't have to back up as far and they can get back into it as quicker. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think NG on rollout, you can put your teleporter here. Although eventually you want to move it to here, put it facing this way. The reason why you want to do this is because if you put it in this corner, it's okay, but it can get spawn camped. If eventually you put it up here, this is impossible to spawn camp. I think even if, like, I don't know, I don't think spies can even get in there, so. Yeah. Yeah, anyways. Who else? Sniper, kind of playing beam range. If you're gonna go, bats, make sure your engineer knows. If you ever go somewhere alone, you shouldn't. Like, talk to your engineer. Tell him where you're going. Be very vocal about it. And if he doesn't follow you after you say it, then that's his fault, right? Soldier, you can do a high bomb on here. Except I suck at soldier, so I can't do it. The idea is basically like jump off here, jump off of this, and then like you go way up in the air. You basically land here,
I could show a clip of that from my boy Scouty. Scouty could probably do that for me.
Oh yeah, Scouty could definitely do it.
He's very good at
It's
it. You can change the elevation of whether if you want to go super high or in like a little bit lower in the
yeah.
jump
So
there.
this is basically like some teams just like have trouble looking up, and that like works a lot of the time. So like obviously if you do it enough times, they're going to be able to start looking up, but you know, just like don't do it every time, but you can probably get away with it a lot in like your div. So um yeah, I think that's it on defense. Um offense, uh pretty much just if we're setting up for a push, we're gonna bring our combo on 2 bats. Pretty much my entire combo is gonna be here. I want my engineer and soldier on ramp. You guys are basically just making sure that nobody like jumps behind, right? And soldier, you can even like uh jump behind yourself. If like they're not really watching this, you can get behind. You can go into their spawn, or like you can jump on the ramp. Right. So yeah. Um, the idea on this map is to never be doing nothing, if that makes sense. So like a lot of teams like to think if you're not ready to push, like let's say you guys want to wait for Uber, but you guys only have 30% Uber. We're not going to sit around and just wait for Uber, right? We're going to try and jump their asses, right? We're going to sack, right? Just get on them. Soldier and demo countdown 3, 2, 1, and we're going to go together. My spy's going to decloak at the same time. Then everyone else just runs in except for 2 players. That's my engineer and my medic. If we call for a sack, I want my engineer and medic to literally go to spawn. Um, yeah, there's an embarrassingly large amount of medics that don't understand the words "go back to spawn." They lose a lot of Ubers doing that. So don't be that medic. Um, it's always good for experience if like in scrims you can try that, but if it's like a match, you know, just go back to spawn. Um, but anyways, um, yeah. If we're not going for a sack, we're just pushing. Um, this map kind of relies a lot on your heavy and where he goes. A lot of heavies like to go crates. Basically just like fist of steel it, jump, then you can like drop down here. Then you can like rev on these crates and then like peek this, right? While your demo is like up here shooting, then your medic and pyro can drop down. Demo here should be the last, like one of the last people to drop down, just because this is such an oppressive angle, right? He doesn't need to drop down and like give up the high ground until he needs to. So the the checklist of how to do this push. First of all, my demo, we're all gonna get buffs, right? We're all gonna say, okay, let's buff up everyone, and this shouldn't take a long time. Everyone should be like trying to get buffed anyways. If you guys have crit heals, you have crit heals. You go for crit heals, right? Everyone is full health. We're all healthy. My demo's gonna say, okay, I want to push. My demo's gonna start spamming the roof, trying to kill the scout. Um, the reason why is because if you guys don't shoot the scout, he's gonna be a real big pain in the ass. And if nobody shoots him, then he's eventually gonna like try and take pot shots on your medic, and it's really easy to kill the medic from this. So, um, yeah, demo, just try and get stickies onto him, and then once you do, you need to try and walk fast because it's not gonna take a long time for him to just back up, get healed, and then walk back in. You know. So you guys need to start making your play. Basically, your heavy drops down, your pyro and medic drop down. Then you start walking. If that scout comes back, just shoot him again. But shoot this heavy. It's gonna be there. And then once like you guys get clear, you can try and start walking wide on the point. Heavy, you can either stay on this head glitch or you can start moving up. Um, yeah. Uh, and then on this, if you guys want to use an offensive Uber, well, this is like more like a dry push, right? You guys don't have Uber. You guys just want to walk, right? If you guys want to use Uber, then we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna be like, okay, I want to get everyone buffed, but instead of everyone walking in now, obviously, we don't want anybody to take damage during the Uber because there's no point. Why are you trying to shoot the shiny players, right? Um, so we're gonna take a demo scout. Um, And where you take it kind of depends on where the sniper is, obviously. So, sniper's peeking this, and he's watching bats. You know, he's like here. You obviously don't want to go bats. You can try shutter. And just like scout. If you know that you're about to take the Uber, you want to go through shutter, you could just like come here, then come here, and then you can shoot the stickies from here. It's a pretty effective strategy if you just want to like go fast. Because remember, I told you this this demo is gonna want to sticky this off, so this is always gonna be stickied off. So if you come here, you can easily get them off, and then you guys can use quick. Basically, that means the reason why you do that is because as a medic, if your demo walks through the shutter and you don't use before you open the shutter, your demo's gonna get dropped from the Uber, right? But if you shoot the stickies and there's no stickies, you guys can milk it a little bit. And you guys can like walk through. Your demo can jump. You know, he can put a sticky down and then like jump, and you guys can use. Instead, if like you guys don't do that, your medic needs to use before you even open the shutter, right? But yeah. Okay, what else? Yeah, I mean, I think, you guys should always be aware of, like, trying to mix it up. Heavy, you should be in, like, Shutter instead of on Bats. Pyro, Demo, Medic, you should be on Bats. Medic, you can play, like, in here. The reason why you don't play here is because this is a really easy spam site for line to be in, so Demo, you can just, like, get spam here. Soldier NG on ramp. Scouts, you can, I mean, you're, again, gonna be, like, here. You can help out on a ramp. You can go wherever. Spy check. Yeah. And then, yeah, Spy, talk to your soldier a lot on this map. It's very easy to coordinate, like, plays. Ramp is a very big decloak spot. If you literally decloak here, a lot of times you'll get away with it. So, this is a map where you can try for riskier decloaks. You can, like, come here, decloak here, go for a stab, you know. But yeah, try and make sure that you're doing it with your soldier. So like, hey soldier, can you jump? Soldier says, yeah. Okay, I'm jumping. Soldier, can you jump? Okay, yeah, I'm jumping in 3, 2, 1. You're gonna decloak when he says 1. He's gonna be in while you're decloaking. Either they're gonna look at you or they're gonna look at the spy. Either way, you should have a good chance of getting damage and killing players, right? Yeah, I mean, this map is pretty linear. All I can say is never push ramp as combo. Fuck. This is just a horrible place to re-push. If you guys are taking a lot of damage and you have to back out through ramp, don't refight from here. Just rotate the shutter. And if you're fast enough, you guys can start refighting from shutter before they even cap the point. That's a really good play if you have Uber. Some teams like to use right back in, you know? Like, let's say you guys have a little bit of disad, right? Like, let's say you have 90%, they have 100%, right? They use in, you guys have to back up. Instead of just, like, trying to kite it and then walking back in here, let's just kite it all the way back to our shutter, right? And then before the point is even used, before the point is even gone over to the other team, you can use right back through shutter and get on their players. That's basically a play to make sure that, like, they start, if they see you backing up, their players are going to want to get on point, start walking forward. Then you guys can just walk through shutter and use, and then there's going to be a lot of players here because they think you've backed up and given up the point, right? I hope this is making sense. I know it's kind of a going fast, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty much it. If you guys want to do sack denial, pretty much just have your pyro and your medic in shutter. Make sure they're not peeking this because a lot of snipers like to go shutter. And if they go shutter, your medic's just gonna be sitting here. Make sure your medic's like here. Pyro, just sit on spy checking. Heavy, go toxic. Demo, don't play up so far. You keep shutter locked off, but like your heavy's gonna be like on toxic. Can shoot whatever. Scout on roof still. Then everyone else, you know, sack positions. Then just deny the sacks, and then once you guys do get it over with, just walk back out and get your heavy back on crates, get your medic back out here, get your demo back, and like starting to sticky off places again. Yeah. if your spy calls the sniper ramp, I want my entire combo to shift right. And the reason why you do that is because if the sniper comes ramp and you just walk over here, that's it. Like that's the ultimate strategy of countering this, right? The best way to do it is to one, have your soldier bomb it, right? It's to have your demo literally walk at it and just start shooting stickies, making sure that sniper can't walk out. And then your heavy can still just like sit here to make sure that they can't walk out while you guys are walking up, right? Yeah. But basically you just your entire team walks at the sniper, and then the sniper either has to like do a really stupid play, like try and peek this while he's getting like spammed by 6 different things, or he just backs up defeated and you guys can just go back to your regular hold. Yeah, this map relies heavily on spy comms and like on the sniper especially. So, but yeah, uh, any questions really? Um, Heavy, you can go lower. Um, like I said, if you're going crates a lot, you need to be aware of what's lower. Just make sure you're spotting lower. You don't have to like drop down and check it, right? But like while you're here, make sure you're not getting like caught off guard here. Make sure you're checking this, make sure you're checking that, and then you can peek. If you want to go lower, you can just like come here, hide until like they are either like dropping off if they're on offense, um, or if they're like, on point, you just want to go lower, you can like come here, right? Kind of a cheese play, doesn't really work. I like to use it on defense instead of being on crates. Like let's say you're on disad, right? And your entire team's playing to get out. Obviously, you guys don't want to die to an ad uber, right? So maybe your medic's playing in shutter, um, like ready to get out. And then your heavy's playing lower. Your scout can be on like roof and basically calling when they're gonna drop off bats. So like your scout calls that they drop off bats, and then your heavy hears that, and then he peeks, and then he can either get a force or a drop, right? So yeah, I think it's very predictable if you do it a lot. Although a lot of teams struggle to get you out of it. Well, yeah, like it's even just hard to get a heavy out of this place, right? If a heavy has good tracking, you can literally just sit here for like ever. And
I
like
have a
usually what
question.
teams will have to do is like have a spy decloak on him and then have like a scout and engineer try and kill him, right? Like a lot of time like the best heavies, it'll take literally 3 people to try and get this guy out. And if the best heavies are like feeling themselves, um they'll literally still like live and just sit here. It's just so
So,
hard to get them out.
so I have a question,
Yeah.
and I just want to hear your thoughts. But one of my mentors saying I could do this. It's perfectly fine. So at the first round, or just starting off of the round, is it actually okay if I were to use my gun to shoot the demo down so I could fear him? Like how impactful is that really?
What class are you?
I'm spy.
Oh, yeah. That's actually pretty good. That only works if you're on DR. So a lot of spies, what they'll do these days is they'll sit here, they won't pop the DR yet. They'll just walk at the demo, they'll pop DR, and then they'll run into secret, decloak about here, and then they'll come here.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
I do that. For me, I'm just sitting on fans and I just rack up a lot of damage with my gun. So, and then
yeah,
like when I'm low, I use dead ringer, and then I dead ringer from secret or at ramps to pop kills.
yeah. I think walking at them is a really good strategy. I think it's probably the best strategy. If you're gonna just go uh invis, like just walk across point and then do the exact same thing, like get over here. Then you can decloak on like a heavy here or something, or if not, you can just get on point.
Do
I
you
think a lot of
know? Do you know about
what's
the R underscore draw portals?
sorry,
Do you know the command R underscore draw portals?
I do not.
I'd like you to use them real quick because you'll kind of see why the Dead Ringer is also pretty good. So you see all these squares.
Yeah, what
Those
are they,
squares are
hitboxes?
no, they're actually sound barriers. It actually can make cloaks basically silent. If I were to decloak on with the Dead Ringer, but behind secret, but not at secret, the Dead Ringer sound would be basically very, very quiet. So at secret, they would still hear it, but if there's a lot of noise happening, they won't as much.
Yeah.
So
Um, yeah, I think that's good. Um, I think whenever I go to crates, better heavies, I usually always have like a really good, well, I'm not gonna say really good. Um, in invite, the spy still get me because I'm a dumbass, but like um eventually you'll heavies will get like a really good innate sense that like where you'll want to go to, and it that's the same on product too, of where like spies will always do the same thing. Like on product there's concrete, and like normally spies will either go onto combo and like do something, or a lot more times they'll just sit on concrete and decloak on the heavy, right? And it's
yeah.
the same thing with this, that they'll just like sit here and like come through here. So like
Oh
I've
yeah.
developed, like whenever I'm really focused, I'll just like sit here and then count like to 5, and then I'll turn and usually catch a spy, you know.
Yeah.
um it's just something where like a lot of spies get caught up on like a timer kind of. They do the same thing, but like they do it with such um like they do it with such what word am I trying to say?
Like
With such
a
similarity
textbook,
that like
kind
they
of like a
they do
textbook.
the exact same thing at the same time, and it takes them about the same amount of time to do it each time, right? So a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
times,
like a textbook basically. They're very
yeah,
textbooky about it.
yeah. So like if you want, I think the best spies will go DR here, um, and just like shoot the demo, and then DR into like secret, and then do that. But some spies will like to try. I've seen spies like do it here, decloak here, and it's a loud ass decloak, and sniper will be sitting right here, and they don't hear it. Stab them and go up here, you know. Um, Usually the medic is like a pretty, I wouldn't say like hard, well, a pretty hard pick to get. I usually don't see spies get the pick on mids, mostly because the soldier here is just like so much more likely to get it. Just because if you're like this, you know, and you can actually jump, soldier will just like normally get this bomb every single time and hit it, instead of
Yeah.
a spy who's gonna take a little bit to get in, you know.
Yeah, just like honestly, DRing in Shutter also works really well because I mean, I basically showed you R underscore draw portals, which is the sound barriers. That does
Yeah.
actually make Dead Ringer even silent if they were like outside, and if I were to decloak at inside Shutter, it's like it's
Yeah, and
really
I
good.
mean,
So
it's even
yeah,
like a lot of snipers just won't pay attention. Like there are snipers in
exactly.
invite who just don't have earphones or headphones, and they'll just like sit there while while the spy is decloaking with DR on them, you know. Um, but also, what was I gonna say? It wasn't about the spy.
It was
About something
gunning
else.
with Dead Ringer and like then
No, it
you're
was something
getting
else.
textbooky stuff.
Um, Shit. Oh well. Um, yeah. I mean, I think on this map um it's very textbook. I think you guys just need to like kite pretty well. This map is very easy to kite on. So that's why you'll see a lot of demos like whenever you're on disad, you'll see a lot of teams just sit in shutter, because it's really hard to get in position without dropping, you know? Because sniper is so prevalent on this map whenever you're trying to take space. If you just sit your sniper here, they can't go shutter, right? Or else they're gonna drop. They have to use through shutter, right? And the only way they're going to counteract that is if they go the opposite way as your sniper, and then your sniper just rotates, right? Or maybe they don't even pay attention. They don't see him, right? This map is so easy to drop on that your team can just sit in shutter, and a lot of times they'll just use through shutter instinctively, and you guys just like get the easiest kite of your lives, and then you just walk up to bats, you just refight, right? Yeah. Um, I think that's about it. Uh, yeah. Any more questions on anything? Um, I mean, I can show you the forward hold. It's very finicky. It's not like finicky probably isn't the right word. It's very easy to break. I'll show you how to do it and then how to break it. Basically demo demo medic pyro scouts are gonna be on bats, on their bats. Um and then like your sniper obviously can just sit here and he can like sit here or like come here, sit here, you know. Heavy soldier are gonna be on um their ramp. You guys are pretty much just gonna make sure that you slow them down. You don't want to peek this just because sniper can peek you from there or there, so just chill. You can hide if you want. Um, and then how you break this is you just come left lobby. That's literally just it. It's so hard for them to contest you while doing this. You guys can just like fight them from here, or if you're too scared, just like walk out to point. You know, just like wrap them. What are they gonna do? They have to turn around and like fight you from here, but like then you guys can just like take point, right? Um, Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of people who like get a little bit too scared. If they're coming through right lobby here, their left lobby, you can just like spam them. Like you can try and fight them here. It's hard, but like it's not impossible. You guys just need to make sure that somebody's watching this so that and like somebody's making sure that a scout doesn't run under bats and like come up here and shoot your medic in the back, right? I'm speaking from experience because that exact thing happened in a match of mine. Um, but like yeah, I think especially since you don't have your heavy here, the idea is to stall them and then get out with all your players, right? Yeah, like get something, right? And even if you don't get something, you get 20 extra seconds, right? Which is better than just sitting on point and letting them have all this space. You usually really only do this when they're down nearly wiped, you know? And then yeah, and then when that happens, just leave your scout and engineer on point. Yeah, on point to cap, and you guys just run forward. Right. Um, so yeah. Um, yeah, if you guys have like ad in the situation here, you guys can just like use it in and like if they're disrespecting you by having their medic sit right here, you guys can just run in and try and get their med if you really want. But like have your spy call that because if you do that, their pyro's just gonna sit here and air blast you back. But if you have your spy calling it, he can decloak at the same time and stab their medic as they're running back, right? It's a simple spy play to coordinate. Um, you really should have your spy coordinate ad uber like aggressive ad ubers like on all maps. Basically, if he's in a position and he thinks that the medic is too far forward and he can get on the medic, you know, then he's gonna say, okay, can you guys use that Uber? Can you guys walk in? And then he can just decloak, stab the medic as their S king, right? Works on product, works on here, works everywhere. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it. Uh, again, this map is very hard, but it's very easy conceptually, right? Um, this map is very, yeah, it's very flowcharty. Um, and the reason why a lot of people hate this map or like do badly on this map is because they back up. They back up onto the ramp. They sit here and they fear, right? They bait their players, like they bait their heavy on on crates. Their demo doesn't log off shutter, right? Everyone needs to do their part, and then this map is very easy. But also, if you don't, this map can get very ugly very quickly. So just make sure you guys are doing your jobs at the right time and not like baiting each other. You guys should do fine. Yeah, but that's pretty much all I had. Any questions, any concerns, anything? All right, cool. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, just DM me. But
Thank you,
yeah,
Swift.
yeah, no problem, guys.
Thank you for
Anyways,
the review.
yeah, no problem. I'll see y'all later.
Have a good one.